Hey, what is up? We are back. We are live. We are not feeling great today. Hopefully, I can make it through it. I just kind of woke up. Been, yeah, just not been feeling the best. So we'll get through this. I feel good enough to do that. I've basically slept all day. So, sure, we'll have plenty of energy at least for a while. Welcome, in Pepper Tony. We will kind of go over a little bit of things we before we really get started. Let some people filter in. um First of all, we'll just kind of go over to Underdog NFL on X and review what's happened today. I haven't looked yet. I've heard a little bit. So Brandon Ayuk completely stopped communicating with the team. I actually forgot about Brandon Ayuk whenever I was doing the ranks. I had to adjust something today. I threw him in a spot. We will see what everybody thinks about that. I mean, he probably just ends up with Jaden Daniels, right? Like, that would make sense. Falcons expected to hire Tommy Reese as offensive coordinator. Okay, that doesn't matter. Offensive coordinator for Eagles, Matt Nagy, would be one of the most awesome things as a Chiefs fan for me to see. He can go there and be an undercover agent for us. That sounds great. This needs to happen. Let's go. Nick Bosa is on track to return. I don't know if this is going to be on here, but Cam Skadaboo's already jogging. So I would be absolutely shocked if he's not like ready by training camp. It kind of sounds like he's going to be ready by training camp. So who knows how much power he would have lost though? But he'll still have the vision. He'll still have the pass catching ability. So I'm not going to be super worried about it. The Schultz, Grant Udinsky, finalist for Browns. RIP to those guys. Like coaching futures if that happens. And George Halani designated for return. I seen that coming. I kind of mentioned it yesterday, which is something interesting for next year for sure. And that's what we got so far today. So we're gonna go here and we're gonna kind of sort. Like, we're going to go through all of the rookie free agents, or all of the free agents for the year. Let me 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So we are starting now with the wide receiver talk. We're going to initially go over all of the free agents. There are quite a bit of them. And then we'll delve into the actual stats that I have or like the very, very rough ranks after that. So George Pickens, free agent. Alec Pierce, free agent. Juwan Jennings is a free agent. Debo, Mike Evans, Romeo Dobbs, Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen on my actual sheet, I have him listed, like my ranking sheet. I put in italics everybody I think could retire. Him and Kelsey and some others you'll see in italics. So he's on the sheet. I expect him to retire, but I expected it last year as well. Marquise Brown. Jalen Coker is an extended rookie free agent. They will absolutely keep him. I expect him to get a decent deal this offseason. Shaheed got traded for. They didn't actually sign him for more. He's had a decent postseason so far. I expect him to actually hit the free agent market because he's kind of proven that he deserves a decent contract. Seattle not having a deal done with him already is pretty interesting. Then down here, we're to like okay players. You got Tyquan Thornton, Calvin Austin, Greg Dortch, Sterling Shepard, Jalen Naylor, Hunter Renfro, Kendrick Bourne, Olamide Zacchaeus. He's been solid all year. Like, I know he didn't have fancy production, but as a receiver, if he could go to several teams and improve the back end of the receiving room. Van Jefferson, John Mechie's a restricted free agent. Christian Kirk, once again, is a free agent. And somebody I also forgot to add to my list was Tank Dell. I'm going to go do that right now at the bottom of this. I forgot that he might be back and healthy. I guess he's ready to come back, and he should be ready by training camp. I heard that today. Khalif Raymond, free agent. Zay Jones, Dyami Brown, Tutu, Lil Jordan Humphrey, Tim Patrick, Jalen Tolbert, Noah Brown. The Jalen Tolbert one is actually it's heavily going to, and like, I have Ryan Flournoy rated pretty okay, like not real high, but I have a decent ranking on him. They used him a lot at the end. Tolbert's gone, and Pickens isn't officially back yet. So you got Gunnar Olszewski, Jahan Dotson, Malachi Corley, extended rookie free agent. Adam Thielen is almost for sure retiring. Jamari Thrash, Tinsley, Bryce Tremaine, Tyler Wallace, Sky Moore, Scotty Miller, Dwayne Eskridge, and David Moore. And then here's all the other, like, the people who I removed because they didn't have any stats. So Jake Bobo and Malik Heath are players you probably know. They're restricted free agents, which means they might stay with the team. Rondale Moore is kind of interesting. And then extended rookie free agents, the only one that, like, Xavier Scott is interesting, and Nico Remigio, to see if those two stay on the teams. I believe those two will, and the other ones won't. But enough of that. You guys came here for ranks. We're going to start with ranks. Actually, yeah, we'll get right into the wide receivers. I was planning on starting with the tight ends because it'd be a lot simpler, but here we go. Oh, exclusive rights. My bad. I kept saying rookie. It has the exclusive rights free agent is because they're off of a rookie deal, right? That's why I was saying that. But yeah, you're correct. It's exclusive rights free agent. It's like if they were a late draft pick or a free agent pick. Is that when they were an unrestricted free agent? Let's look it up. Exclusive. Oh, thanks for all right. A player with fewer than 3 years accrued seasons and an expired contract. If their original team offers a 1-year league minimum deal, the player cannot negotiate with other teams. So that is okay. Yep. Whenever I typed in what is an went to type in what is an exclusive rights free agent, Google wanted me to look up what is an exclusive relationship. Thank you, Google. Glad you're here. Thanks for playing along. All right, so here's the board. I wasn't positive if I wanted to just make this all one tier or have a break here. I think a break is deserved at JSN. I think Jamar Chase, Puka, and JSN, however you want to slice it, should be 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to basically just take whichever ones they have at ADP. I have Puka at 2. Oh, I have Puka at 2 currently because we don't know about Stafford, right? Like, I still believe if they win a Super Bowl that he ends up retiring. I'm fine. Like, if Stafford plays, I have him at 1, and Chase at 2. Maybe I think it's pretty much the same. Yeah, and I think Lamb is arguable to be, yes, and that's the other thing. Lamb being in the same tier highly depends upon if Pickens comes back. I kind of assume Pickens is going to come back. And yeah, that's the other thing. I thought about I thought about extending this down here and then making this next tier from Nico all the way to Olave. And we'll get to Olave. I'm sure there'll be very mixed opinions on him. But I just decided to go here because the CeeDee Lamb stuff, like, if we look at his numbers for this past year, let me go find it. Like, I know he was hurt quite a bit, but he didn't perform like he used to. Like, he still had 11.6 points, and he didn't play. Like, he played hurt a couple games and all that. So, like, we know that he is better than this. So I don't put a whole lot of stock into that either. So yeah, and I kind of agree with that. I almost had Amon-Ra above CeeDee Lamb. So, and I mean, Michael Wilson is actually higher than I expected him to be. What's up, Dark Side? Hopefully you enjoy this on your drive home. You can yell at the sky while I'm telling you ranks that you don't like while you're driving home. It'd be a good time. It's good for you, sir. All right, tier 2. And I do agree. I think you could extend this down, like even having a break there at all between Ja'Marr Chase all the way to Neighbors. I just think these are players you don't want to miss out on. If you don't like one of them, getting extra of one of them makes sense, but full fading any of these players would be absolutely insane. Neighbors should be fully healthy for training camp. I heard that earlier this week. And he's going to have a better quarterback situation. I would be fine moving Neighbors up. So CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra, I think everybody agrees that those two are a slight tier, like a slight step ahead of Nico and Neighbors. And we could see that as well. Oh, you did? That's nice. I'm sure that, like I said, if you want to comment on some things that you think were completely wrong, like, go ahead. I'm doing this to try to narrow down some tiers to be able to draft the first weekend. And I could see moving Nico out. Just because of CJ Stroud and all that. But in truth, like, Nico still finished as wide receiver 10 in points per game last year. Even as inept as they were, he still finished wide receiver 10. Which is insane. Hold on, let me fix this real quick. I don't know why I deleted it like that. Okay. So like, him being at wide receiver 10, because it's X-2, right? With the season that they had as a team, like, I expect them to be better on offense this year. That offensive line got better as the season went on, and so did their offensive production. So I'm going to have him in this tier. If you wanted to tier him down, and like, if you wanted to move Malik Neighbors to 6, have that top 6 as a tier, and then start at Nico Collins down to Olave, I think that's perfectly fine. Yeah, he wasn't getting the targets that he deserved because Xavier Hutchinson keeps getting a bunch of targets. Maybe this is too hot. I know I'm not going to end at like 12% Nico Collins. I'm just kind of putting these guys here. Like, I think we all agree that Nico is still a fine pick. I don't think this is the area you want to make stands in. That's my philosophy. You may disagree, but that is definitely my philosophy. I'll kind of do whatever the market tells me in that area for sure. So Nico down is what you guys are thinking. And possible tier break here. And then he should be where you have him based on his talent. But yeah, and we'll get to MHJ. So what do you guys think? You can't see either one of them yet. Do you think I have MHJ or Michael Wilson higher? What does the chat believe? What does the chat believe? All right, so and then we have the next tier, and Jefferson's only if you wanted to move Jefferson above Nico, I am fully in on that as well. I just have this is what I kind of think the market's going to do. My takes kind of go in a little later. Drake London. What? Back to back like a coward. I don't actually remember where I put him. I believe I have Michael Wilson quite a bit ahead. And I think I might have had MHJ kind of nuked. But we'll find out in a minute. I do kind of believe that Jefferson should be ahead of London and Olave for sure. I think that this is kind of a mini tier. I think it would make more sense to not have 3 tiers here, to start the tier, or to have the top 5 be a tier, and then from Nico down to Olave. I think that actually makes more sense. So, just do 2 tiers for the top 10. I'll fix that later. Does anybody have a problem with having Olave all the way up to 10, or Drake London at 8? So London, I did make this ranking before Stefanski got there. So Stefanski historically has had, he just hasn't had elite wide receivers. He's not had good quarterback play. And I wasn't even thinking about it, but I'm definitely going to move Michael Penix way down, and I'm going to move Kirk Cousins up. Kevin Stefanski has nothing to do with Michael Penix. He was at a situation that he could have drafted him if he wanted, right? They didn't want him. So what makes you think that he's going to want him later? And Pickens, Pickens was the player that I had the most trouble deciding where to put him. And London being wide receiver 4 fantasy points per game, week 1 to 14, wide receiver 7, including playoffs. Yeah, he was really, really good. And that was with an offense that was very sporadic. So possible tier up. Is Peppertoni the only one here that wants to put Pickens? I had a hard time deciding to put this, what to do with this tier. The wide receivers to me were much, much less clear than the running backs were, in my opinion. He really does. Stefanski is more known for scheming in the run game. Yeah, and he's more known for using tight ends. Which Kyle Pitts is a free agent this year. So is David Njoku. Do they re-sign Kyle Pitts? I believe. We'll. I'm going to share a different page real quick so I don't reveal these ranks. Yeah, so Kyle Pitts is for sure a free agent. and so is David Njoku. So like that's the scary thing about London, right? What are we going to do with that? So for now, I have him here. So Jefferson up is what I'm hearing. So, and then Pickens possible tier up. I'm fine with that. I did it this way because we don't know landing spot yet. And I could see just stopping at 9 and then having Olave in the second tier as well. A little bit of both. So like it's what ADP, like basically it's half point PPR, what I believe they will finish as, like what players are they going to finish around in half point PPR next year, and like with that being said, where I think the market's going to be and where I think I can get value on, like if it's a player I like and I know I'm high on, I'm putting them in a spot that I believe I will get a decent amount of them. Because I'm trying to put them low for my ranking. So like I'm basically roughly putting everybody where I think the market will have them. And a little bit of like hate on players like AJ Brown here, right? Who is fantastic, but like we don't know what's going to happen. That contract is not easy to trade. I don't like him very much at all if he's in. I didn't have very much of him at all last year because I didn't think that he deserved to be ahead of Ladd, which he did, or T. Higgins, which he didn't, or Davante Adams, which he ended up not being. And like in my heart, I want Tetairoa McMillan over AJ Brown next year. So the next tier, 11 through 18, we will read them off for people listening. George Pickens, Davante Adams, T. Higgins, AJ Brown, Tetairoa McMillan, Zay Flowers, which may be a shock to some people, Garrett Wilson, and Ladd McConkey to end that tier out. I actually moved Ladd up today. I had him in the next tier under JMO. But Mike McDaniel, like he might even move up more. I don't know. I think that they're definitely. I think that's a solid ranking to get a decent amount of them. Wide receiver 2 is a dead zone. You're either a wide receiver 1 or a wide receiver 3. Yeah, the McDaniel OC hire is good for Ladd, QJ, and Trey Harris. I agree. Absolutely. So I basically moved him up a whole, like one spot, but an entire tier. And I think that this tier, I think there's a pretty big break at the McConkey, Garrett Wilson, Zay Flowers, Tetairoa McMillan, AJ Brown, Higgins, Adams, George Pickens tier, down to this tier, which is this could be like, this is a very volatile tier. James, like 19 to 24, Jameson Williams, Christian Watson, Terry McLaurin, Sutton, Rome Odunze, and Brian Thomas Jr. And then like you could see the disgustingness underneath that, and Waddle may get moved up. We'll discuss that. But where's Luther Burden? You'll find him. I'll show you this. This is why Luther Burden's lower. Colston Loveland is going to be the wide receiver 1 next year. Colston Loveland will be what they run that offense through. Colston Loveland is going to be the guy you want on the Bears offense to move through. I am probably not going to back down off of that. I think that is I think that's pretty guaranteed. So that's why I have him lower. DJ Moore is still currently on the team. I want like Luther Burden's at the bottom of the next tier. I'm kind of expecting a year 3 breakout, like the Michael Wilson thing for Rome Odunze next year. Whenever he was fully healthy at the beginning of the season, he really had a very strong start. And then they started taking it away a little bit before Luther Burden and Loveland was like, number 1, healthy, and number 2, really ingrained in the offense. So like, I think that like Rome takes over as the like the X wide receiver kind of thing, and then Luther Burden is going to be like, he's going to be a great pick. Luther Burden is one of those players. I put him here because whatever ADP the market tells me I need to draft him at, I will draft him at. I don't want to put him at 23, 24 and take him 10 to 15 picks every draft before I could have gotten him and just have bad ADPs on him. He's a player the first week or so I'm going to be okay not getting that much of, assuming that I'm wrong. I don't know that everybody's going to move him way up. So Flyfish says, yeah, Rome is just on the Devontae Adams career light trajectory, or is he Corey Davis? Like, it could be either one. Like, it really could be. Like, and then Brian Thomas, like, what do we do with him, right? What do you do there? I'm hoping I put Brian Thomas low enough that I don't get a whole bunch. Honestly, I don't love it. I think you could break this tier at Rome. I think that you could move any of these other players underneath them up into this and make it a tier. I kind of view these two tiers pretty similar. I just think that like Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle and Diggs are less risk averse than a lot of these other ones, but I think that these upsides are way higher. Like Jameson Williams was really, really good this year, but he really came on when Laporta got hurt. So I am a little worried about what happens to JMO when Laporta comes back next year. And like Dan Campbell didn't take over play calling duties until Laporta was already hurt. So if Dan Campbell continues to call plays next year, we don't know what they're going to do, right? We don't know if Dan Campbell loves Laporta or not, right? Like, we know he likes him, but like, I'm going to assume Dan Campbell is going to use Laporta more often to get JMO open, and JMO will he'll be a best ball pick, right? He'll be a guy who's fine. Christian Watson, I think, could be an absolute smash next year. Terry McLaurin, like, was never healthy. Jaden Daniels never healthy. I'm interested in that. Like, Deebo Samuel's going to be gone. We don't know anything else. Like, they don't have a whole lot of cap room. They don't have a first round draft pick, or is it a first round or a second round? They're basically like the oldest team in the league, and they don't have a whole lot of draft capital either. If I remember correctly, Washington Commanders 2026 draft picks. They're missing a 2 and a 4. So then they got a okay. Yeah, so they're missing a 2 and a 4. Maybe you already said this. Hey, what's up, Scott Shee? Welcome to the channel. I don't think I've seen you here before. I hope you enjoy the content. I didn't say where he would be if he was a wide receiver. But I'm going to go over the tight ends after this. I did a sneak peek. I have Loveland as tight end 4 right now. And I have him way up, like Like, I don't have where I think they're going to be drafted at, but I think that we're going to see like the mid round 4 Colston Loveland next year, possibly. So, like, that's where I'm willing to take him. So, I think Colston Loveland, like, if Colston Loveland was on this list, though, I would have him in this 19 to 24 range. Maybe I'd probably have him at the top of this tier. I'd probably have him at 19, or like, and I'd probably extend this tier down. Like, I'd probably put him in the 11 to 18 tier, but extend it and put him down there. I am going to be very, very high on Colston Loveland next year. So take that with a grain of salt whenever I'm talking the Bears. All right. So the next tier, 25 to 31. We kind of glossed over it. I don't think he'll start higher. I do think he will steam higher. I think by the time NFL drafts, like the NFL season's approaching, he's going to be 2-3 turn. I don't think he'll start that early. I think that it'll kind of be like George Kittle last year. George Kittle, up until about June, you could get George Kittle to 4 or 5 turn because everybody looked at tight ends and seeing how deep tight end was. And everybody has seen the success of late tight end in best ball. So people weren't taking them as often. And that was a big part of the talk. And it won once again. So I think that the same kind of thing will happen this year. And then all of a sudden, he's going to move up to the 3-4 turn or mid third. So I think that that's what's going to happen. That's just my opinion. So 25, 26, 27, we have Rashee Rice, Tyreek Hill, and Devonta Smith. Now, Tyreek Hill is very interesting because I need to also put him in italics because he may, like, I don't think he's going to retire, but like he could. Leg injuries are really bad for speed receivers, but like I like full faded him last year and I got absolutely bailed out because he was about to absolutely explode again and be one of the better picks on the board. If we can get that kind of possible explosive player, and he, like, I'm going to assume, I haven't seen if he's practicing, if he's ready, any of that stuff, but I'm going to assume that he'll be ready for training camp because that injury happened really early in the season. Even if Tyreek Hill loses a step, like, he's still going to be fine. So don't remind me. Darkside was in on Tyreek. So, yeah, RIP to that. It was the right call. I was on the wrong side of it. But, like, I think that people are going to be very, very scared of Tyreek Hill. Mike McDaniel gone. Nobody trusts Tua. We don't know who the offensive coordinator is going to be. Jeff Hafley's a defensive guy. So there's a lot to be worried about there. But he is under contract. He was already upset with the team. All kinds of things could go wrong there. But if Tyreek Hill is 80% of what Tyreek Hill has been in the past, and we're getting him at wide receiver 26, how do you not like that? How is that not a really good pick? Yeah, he could be similar to 25 Diggs at cost. Absolutely. If we're getting Tyreek Hill in round like 6, 5, 6, like, I want a bunch. And I'm not going to be like 18, 19% until I find out for sure he's going to be healthy because it will be a risk. But I think that this is one of those risks that's worth taking. Somebody mentioned earlier, is Rashee Rice going to get suspended 6 games again? I seen that. I didn't bring it up. There's been a lot of chat today, so sorry I can't go back to that. I haven't seen a single word on it again. I know that, like, I don't know if they are still under investigation, if it got resolved, what all's going on with that. It kind of sounds like this is something that isn't going to just blow over. like a lot of the domestic stuff does in the NFL. And that's why he's at 25. I put him at 25 because I honestly don't want to take a whole lot of him. But whatever you're talking, like, I should probably put him at the bottom of this tier, honestly. What do you guys think? Because, like, he's a clear upgrade over the next tier. Like he's clear upgrade. If he plays all season, where are we putting him? 17? Like, and on top of that, and that's why he's in yellow, because we don't know if he's going to be suspended or not. We have, but like, he goes up here, right? Probably around AJ Brown, if he's fully healthy. But like, I still don't think Mahomes is going to be fully healthy this year. So, yeah. But like, if you believe that Mahomes is going to miss 4 weeks, I do think that lowers him a little bit as well. Yeah, and that's what Darkside is saying. Like, not only do you have to worry about the injury or the getting suspended 6 games, but you have to worry if Mahomes, number one, is he going to be ready? And number two, if he rushes back, is he even going to be that effective? And if I'm going to be saying this the entire offseason. If Kansas City ends up with Jeremiah Love, they are signing up to be not a great team next year. That is not what they like. I am very against us doing that. We have a very bad offensive line. We're in a position to be able to take a tackle, possibly. If there's a tackle left on the board, we absolutely need it. Jawan Taylor needs to be gone. I believe he's a free agent. Hope to God we don't re-sign him. Like, I know everybody, all the fantasy community just wants to see Mahomes with Jeremiah Love. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it at all. I'm a Chiefs fan. I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm going to be very high on that as a take the entire offseason. Unless in free agency we actually pitch out some money and shore up both tackle positions, then I'm all for it. I would be all for it if we could shore up our tackle positions. So yeah, I think, yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm there. Darkside thinks that it needs RB help. I said it yesterday. I feel like Kenneth Gainwell is an Andy Reid style guy. So like, we'll get more into that stuff later. So that's Rashee Rice and Tyreek. Like, the Rashee Rice discussion, it'll be a big part of best ball once again. He's a bad person, we know. But he's pretty good at football, and he's the number one. If Travis Kelce retires on top of that, he moves up, right? If Travis Kelce doesn't retire, he does effective. But if he does retire, he absolutely is worth more as well. And then we got from 27 to 31. And if you want to put Rice and Tyreek Hill at the bottom of this group, that's perfectly fine. I think that this group is very fluid. These two are the high risk, high reward, right? Tyreek Hill and Rashee Rice. And everyone else probably has a pretty good chance to have a solid job next year. Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, Emeka Egbuka, Stephon Diggs, Luther Burden. Egbuka is scary. Jalen McMillan came back and basically took a bunch of the work from him. But Mike Evans is a free agent, and he some people believe he's going to retire. It kind of sounds like he doesn't think he's going to retire. But if Mike Evans is not there and you have an old Chris Godwin, Emeka Egbuka, and Jalen McMillan, I think that, I think he's going to be. I think some people will have him rated way higher, and some people will have him rated way lower than this. I don't know. He's one of the players that I didn't have a lot. I could be wrong on this pick. I think he will end up ahead of Luther Burden, which is kind of why I put Burden down here. all of the Dynasty Bros were very, very in on Egbuka the whole time. A lot of people will there will be some people who have reasons to like Emeka Egbuka, and there'll be a whole bunch of other people who are only in on him because they don't want to be wrong. And trying to decipher which person that's touting him will be part of the thing. As a player, he was awesome. And he was very awesome until Baker was playing injured as well. So I think he's a guy who could absolutely explode next year as well. And Kai coming in with the heat. Steph Diggs where Lad is. I am not opposed to that. Diggs is another player that I'm going to have at field, if not higher. This, like I said, this list is a lot of where I think the market is going to be, and a mix of what I think, the players that I like, where I think I'll get them. So Jalen Waddle, I have him slightly lower because I don't want a whole lot of him. Same with Devonta Smith. I have him these top 4 here. The reason they're at the top of this tier, by the way, these are all players I fully believe could easily be in the tier above. But they're players that I personally don't want a lot of next year. Philadelphia is going to scare me until I find out who the OC is. And then Egbuka, Diggs, and Burden, I want a bunch of. I think those 3 are going to be really good picks. I'm going to be in on New England. I kind of think that we're going to end up seeing 5-6 turn Diggs May all the time. I think 5-6 turn Diggs May is going to be a pretty common thing. Unless it's a 4-5 turn Diggs May thing. I think wherever Drake May ends up going, that we're going to see Stephon Diggs ADP move up to wherever that is on the next round. I think that's something that's going to happen. That's how I'll probably draft it. I'm not going to lie. If AJ Brown goes to New England, is that actual news, or I don't think trades are capable right now, or are you just predicting? I'm assuming that's a prediction. AJ Brown to New England, it makes some sense. But that cap hit is very bad. The AJ Brown contract is not a good one. So I don't know if they'll be able to trade out of it. All right. So some people like Diggs up. I added him today down here because I kind of forgot about him. So I put him down there so we can discuss it later. When we're done, or actually, how about this? When we get to the tier you guys think Tank Dell should be in conversation for, type his name in. And Pepper Tony, don't put it in right now. I know you're trolling. I know you're about to. But be serious for 1 minute, please. Yeah, it's wild what's going on over there, for sure. I could feel Pepper Tony starting to be like, hey, Tank Dell here. Just I don't know if he was, but I'm sure he thinks that's funny too. I think 31 other teams would welcome Pats tying up their cap with AJ Brown. Yeah, I agree. There we go. There it is. All right, so 32-41. Ricky Pearsall, Michael Wilson, Quentin Johnston, DK Metcalf, DJ Moore. Does he move? Does he stay? What happens? Marv, Alec Pierce, Shakir, Pittman, Jaden Reed. All right. This is the area that some wild stuff starts happening. I think that there's a big tier break from here, and I could see going down to Mike Evans. CJ Stroud might have been a Tank Dell merchant. Yeah, they absolutely need to build the O line. Their GM is doing things that make sense. I don't see like Kayshon Boutte has proven to be a really, really solid wide receiver. As you see, I have him in the next tier. We'll talk about him in a bit. But like I personally don't think that AJ Brown is the move for them. I don't as well. Like I love Parker Washington too. I'm just curious where the field's going to have him. I think you're gonna be able to get Parker around pick 100, possibly. So what do we got? What do we think here? Ricky Pearsall, Michael Wilson, QJ, Metcalf, DJ Moore. Like Metcalf is all the way down here. Purely because we don't know anything about that situation. I never liked him as a player anyway. So yeah, I'm not sure there. Then DJ Moore, Marv down 4 spots, but in the same tier as Michael Wilson. So they weren't back-to-back Peppertoni, but I did put him in the same tier at least. All right, Slade, I grew up being told you could win a Super Bowl with a game manager like Trent Dilfer. This generation is going to be reminded you can win or that you can win one with quarterback manager named Jared Stidham. And I also have grown to appreciate Boutte. Diggs is fine where he is, in my opinion. Overly useful this year. Yeah, that's the problem with Stephon Diggs. Like, Diggs never really super spiked, but he was very solid and awesome for advance rates. If we have to take him 2 rounds earlier, he's probably still going to be fine, but not awesome. And I do think that the market's going to discount Kayshon Boutte a lot, and they're going to expect New England to like go get a wide receiver, all of that. If they go get Alec Pierce, it's going to be like the Boutte stock is absolutely going to plummet. But this is something people do forget. Boutte was an LSU receiver, and wasn't he if I could be wrong, but I think he was a 5-star recruit to LSU, right? Like, I know you follow it more. Let me know. If MHJ ends up on a good team, if MHJ got moved or they somehow create a functional team around him, yeah. So, yeah. And the LSU receivers are very close. Like, the whole LSU versus Ohio State, the answer is both. The answer is just both. No one had more off-the-field fun than Diggs, and he didn't miss a single game. Yeah, absolutely. Like, he did not miss any fun, and he did not miss any games. He might have missed. Did he not miss a game? Wait. Yeah, he didn't miss a game. I guess he got knocked out of a game once or twice. So nobody really seems to be commenting on this tier with Michael Wilson, Quentin Johnston, Metcalf, Moore. If nobody's saying anything about this group, that means I feel like I kind of nailed it. Yeah, I thought that was true. And like the DJ Moore thing, like if he gets DJ Moore is the more likely scenario to go to New England. And if DJ Moore goes to New England, I don't think that his skill set actually it doesn't cover up what Boutte does that much. And it doesn't really cover up anything that Stephon Diggs does that much. And I think that would make a really good, he's the player I think gets moved to New England if a player gets moved to New England this year. But I do not expect DJ Moore to be on that team next year. That is for sure. Yeah, he would replace Douglas Kyle Williams, right? It would be bad. It'd be really, really bad for Kyle Williams is what it would be. Alec Pierce, a free agent, he could move up to this next tier or move down several tiers or move down a tier or two based on where he goes. Like Alec Pierce to Cleveland is stuff of nightmares. Like I don't know if that'll happen, but like, could you imagine he just takes the bag, goes to Cleveland, and like takes a 2-year deal to go like do nothing at all? Like I absolutely don't want that to happen, but like somebody's going to take money from Cleveland this year. I don't know if it'll be a receiver, but like maybe. I would swap Mike Evans, Alec Pierce, but I agree that Pierce is going to rise over the summer once he signs. Yeah. Yeah, and like, so by the way, I had Mike Evans way, way, way lower, but I've been hearing some very positive stuff on him. Whatever the market wants on him, I'm going to gamble with Mike Evans. I don't know where people will have him, but I think I'm willing to take Mike Evans all the way up to the Steph Diggs tier. This is a ranking, like, do you got like, this ranking is basically, I'll just type it, is basically a market prediction. So like, that's something I did last year, and I did it really well. Like, I had 30% Davante Adams when he was in the 5th round. Like, I had 30% Davante Adams. He was a player that I, like, in my ranks, I put pretty high, but I knew that the market wasn't going to be appreciative of. And, like, I'm trying to do that with some of these ranks. So, like, Mike Evans down here, like, I think he's still a value for sure in this next year. I moved this up right before the stream, by the way. I just didn't know how high to move it. But we'll go over that tier now. 42 to 54. Parker Washington, Evans, Xavier Worthy, Kayshon Boutte, Deebo Samuel, free agent, Wan'Dale, pretty high for Wan'Dale, but like, are we going to keep doubting it? Like, are we going to keep allowing Wan'Dale Robinson to be picked in the 150s? We shouldn't. Like, we need to respect the fact that he's going to put up decent numbers. He's going, like, he's shown that he can go deep now. So yeah. Chris Godwin, Juwan Jennings, who's also a free agent, my boy Pat Bryant, wide receiver 50, Travis, one spot above Travis Hunter, who that is a conversation. Jalen McMillan, and then Brandon Ayuk and Jacoby Myers. I added Ayuk here this morning. I moved Mike Evans up this morning. I think Pat Bryant, like, I think I'm going to be pretty in on this. Travis Hunter focuses on corner and he's a fun player, 30% snaps on offense, but like almost 100% on defense. I think that's the route they end up going next year. That is a prediction of mine. I'm going to gamble that way. Parker Washington, like, and Jacoby, like, they extended Jacoby Myers, right? That was after the Hunter injury. Parker Washington was balling out, and they still have BTJ. If BTJ is not traded, and I don't know if they would get enough to trade BTJ away, like, what's the role of the, like, who leaves? Is it Jacoby Myers gets relegated? Does Parker Washington get relegated? Or do they use the two-way player on the other side of the ball? My opinion is that they will choose to use the two-way player on the other side of the ball more often. So, and yes, it feels weird having Pat Bryant ahead of Travis Hunter after this past year. But if you buckle down and look at it, I think that's something that could happen. Especially on half point PPR, TD forward, underdog Mike Evans with healthy Baker is just good business. The problem is that he's a free agent. I think that Mike Evans is another player. I could see Mike Evans going for a Super Bowl. And there's two teams in the AFC who could absolutely use a wide receiver like Mike Evans. And those two teams are the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. You put Mike Evans on the Patriots, Lord help everybody. Like, they sign him, they have all this cap room, right? You give him Mike Evans, like he would complement Diggs so well. It would free up Booty so much. Free Booty's best booty. We know that. And then we got, like, now we can focus on the offensive line again in the draft, right? Like, Mike Evans, like, if he gets signed there, look out, everyone. That's actually one of my predictions. Like, I'm going to do, like, a prediction of all the free agents at some point. That'll be a video I put out. So that's something I think would be really fun myself. Xavier Worthy, I had no idea where to put him. Is this too high? Is this too low? What do we think? I know that the market is, like, completely out on him. I'm not going to be well overweight Xavier Worthy, but I do want to be at field. I do still believe that the Travis Kelce exploding his shoulder at the beginning of the year derailed his whole season. So I think that although he played the whole season, I do think that hampered him a lot. So we got that. And then Ayuk low-key bet on himself by giving up his guaranteed money. Absolute genius. Next tier, 55 to 70. I don't know about this. I had no idea where to put him. We got Calvin Ridley, Golden, Jalen Coker, Jordan Addison all the way down here. Like, he's a player I wasn't sure what I wanted to do on. Then we got Rashid Shaheed, Torrey Horton, Dobbs, Downs, Franklin, Christian Kirk, Jaden Higgins, Chimere DK, Adonai Mitchell, Cooper Kupp, Trey Tucker, and Jerry Jeudy. The first Cleveland wide receiver at pick 70, or at wide receiver 70. All right. Tell me, like, so Jordan Addison once again got in some trouble in the offseason. I don't know if that's something that's going to end up being that he gets suspended again or what, but he was already in the news at some point. I haven't looked into it. I just remember hearing about it. Okay, yeah. Got it. So, like, I love Jalen Coker. I'm very willing to put Jalen Coker up here in this tier with, like, Juwan Jennings, Pat Bryant, Travis Hunter. I'm very willing to do that. But he's a player I don't think that the market's going to be fully in on yet. And I'm just going to be willing to take. Golden, I think, if you look at the free agents, like, Romeo Dobbs is going to be a free agent this next year. So, like, and Malik Heath is a restricted free agent, I think it was. Or he was a exclusive rights free agent, right? Let me find it. Malik Heath. No, he's a restricted free agent. So, like, I'm still gonna leave the light on. Like, I'll take some shots on Matthew Golden again. If you think that Green Bay is going to have a good passing offense, you might as well, right? Torrey Horton, I think, could be an absolute smash as well. He got, I don't know if it's legal trouble, but he definitely popped up on the timeline. And that's why I put him here. Tier up depending on news. He definitely ended up somewhere. Yeah. Ayuk is currently still. So he ended up getting, like, they voided his contract, but they still have him on the team currently. Like like I think there's still like one step for him to have to go to free agency, but like they're obviously not going to let him back. So yes, he should be a free agent for sure. Okay, it was a trespassing charge. Got it. I didn't know what it was. I just remember something happened. And I heard it in the background of a show I was listening to as I was doing these ranks. So I just moved him down the board and figured out I'd sort it out later. I do agree. He should definitely be in this tier and probably near the top of this tier. Like if he plays the whole season, like if we get news that like he's just going to be in there the whole time, I think we move him up 2 tiers, right? We move him up into around Michael Pittman, Shakir, Alec Pierce area, maybe, or maybe down here with Xavier. Actually, probably more like Xavier Worthy, Booty, Deebo Samuel. Torrey Horton is going to be a really fun click next year. I think people will be forgetting about him early on in the year, and I think that you could get like in some draft rooms, you're going to be able to get a little bit of a steal on Torrey Horton. He was really starting to come on. So I think that he's a player that I'm really going to like next year as well. And then the end of the draft, this is just the last of the draftable players in my in my portfolio stuff. We got Jalen Lane, Ryan Flournoy, Darnell Mooney. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Alec Iomanner, Malik Washington, Kyle Williams, Leggett, Jalen Knoll, Trey Harris, I'm willing to move up. Marquise Brown, Cedric Tillman, Rashad Bateman. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Kevontae Turpin, Tyquan Thornton. Yeah, Romeo Dobbs is ranked here in the tier ahead of this. And DK is right here as well. Like, I think these guys are a clear, like, this group down to Jerry Jeudy, I think should probably be drafted in 100% of drafts, right? Like, I think when you get passed down here to the Jalen Lane, Darnell Mooney will probably be drafted in 100% of the drafts. But I think that the guys at 70 and above should be in almost 100% of the drafts in the 20-round format at least. All right, so Xavier Leggett, Jalen Knoll, Trey Harris, Marquise Brown, Cedric Tillman, Bateman, Turpin, Tyquan Thornton. Isaiah Bond is interesting to me. Like, he got deep pretty often and worked well. Devontae Walker, like, he flashed a couple times. Maybe the change of new coach, whenever that happens, is something we could do. I liked him as a prospect some, so, like, maybe I'm just holding out hope. But they don't really have any receivers, and I believe D-Hop was a free agent after this year. So, Savion Williams, I'll never stop. Demario Douglas, Eftim Chisholm, Marvin Mims, and Isaac Tesla. We never did discuss Tank Dell, but I think we can solidly throw Tank Dell in between pick 42 or wide receiver 42 and 70 to start, right? Like, I think that makes sense to me. That's like Jaden Higgins being down here would make more sense with him as well. And yeah, Chimera DK is very interesting. They finalized the hire, right? Who was it? Did they finalize the hire, or am I making that up? Why can't I remember? Robert Salas. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Robert Saleh. I knew that it was somebody. I just couldn't remember for some reason. Like I said at the very beginning of the show, I woke up sick. So yeah, I mean, if you think he's going to be 100%, like, yeah, I think you put him up here with the Worthy and Booty, right? Like, but he's going to be a very high risk pick. I think you're going to be able to get Tank Dell somewhere around here, right? At a pretty reliable, like if you want a bunch of Tank Dell, if you want to put him in this category, I think it's a good spot for him. What's up, Candyman? How we doing? So that's all the receivers that I'm going to be drafting for the first. Oh, you'd have him up here. I don't know if the. Do you think the market's going to do that though? Like I'm not going to disagree. I love Tank Dell. But like, I don't think the market's going to be willing to take a player who is constantly injured. I'll settle him right here for now. For more discussion. That's the thing. He has competition. They drafted Jalen Noel, and this is kind of what I think. I think he's going to be more undrafted, right? Like, because you're going to have people that are very high on Jaden Higgins. You're going to have people who are very high on Jalen Noel from last year. I think you're going to be able to get him down here for the most part. So I'm going to keep him at Tank Dell in this area. If you want a bunch of him, you can get a bunch of them. Christian Kirk's going to be gone, but the other players, so you're the only one that says that. So I'm just saying, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying, I believe this is where the market will have him. I like Tank Dell, but we also just watched them, we just watched CJ Stroud do what CJ Stroud did as well. So everybody's going to be super, super low on that offense. If you ever follow my Discord, you would know, if you're in the hangout and during the Texans game, you'll know that I'm absolutely not a Xavier Hutchinson bull. I just don't I think if he gets steam, it won't be until training camp. I think you'll hear some steam maybe, I think the best case scenario, the highest he goes in pre-draft would be up. I don't see anybody taking him above Travis Hunter, right? The Travis Hunter Bulls are gonna they're not gonna believe in this either. Yeah, Ohio State is known for wide receivers, not quarterbacks. That is a fact, an absolute fact. All right, so that was a fun conversation. Let's move on to tight ends. I only have 40 ranked. For me, doing these ranks, I'm going to say I don't like the depth at tight end this year. Last year, I loved, whenever I was going through the ranks, I loved, I was like, man, there's so many players I like. I don't feel that way this year. I don't feel that way at all. I think some of the better tight ends are going to be later picks. I do agree there, but I don't like a lot of the ones late in the draft. So I'm probably going to end up with 2 reasonably early tight ends. I kind of like the wide receiver tier at the end. If I'm taking the shots on the Jalen Lanes and stuff like that, based on what I see, and how I view the players that are available by the time this is over, I think I want to take my shot players down here because we got 8 wide receivers for 12 teams. That gives you to 80. Give me some Ioman or some Washington, some Leggett, some Trey Harris, some Cedric Tillman, some give me some of those. So here we go. We got Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, 1, 2. Why change it? Like, we just flopped him. Brock Bowers, I think Brock Bowers still deserves to be in here. He's going to have a functional quarterback next year, most likely in Mendoza. They're going to have a better offensive system, I assume. I was in on, and yeah, that's without the rookie wide receivers in there. And I know everybody's saying that they don't like the rookie wide receivers this year. I've not started film on them yet, but let me tell you, the ones that I think I like that are supposedly deeper draft picks, I really like just by the stats. Like, there are, like, let's go to that real quick. I've looked. Let me fix this so you can see it a little better. So I've copied over the first 2 years of, or the last 2 years of production for all of them. And this is like the PFF stats here for the receivers. Sorry that this is taking a minute, but I just made this. Okay. Yeah, so like everyone's going to like Tyson, Cardinal Tate, Mekhi Lemon, Denzel Boston, Concepcion, most likely, right? This Chris Bell guy tore his ACL, so we'll have to look at that. But there are some guys down here that are later that, like, where was it? There was one guy that was pretty far down the list. The Eric McAllister guy's interesting, but it's TCU wide receiver. Was it? It was Chris Brazell. This guy's stats to me, like, kind of jumped out. And then there was another one. Was it Jacoby Lane? Yeah, I think it was Jacoby Lane. Like, yeah, Jacoby Lane really kind of stuck out to me too. So there are some, like, the 8, 9, 10 to like 14 wide receivers. I think they're all going to be draftable this year. I think that this field, I don't think the top is as strong as the last couple of years, but I do think that like the last round picks are going to be stronger. So, like, I'm going to probably take more higher tight end teams myself. That's just how I'm going to draft this year, I think, based on the way that. Yeah, it's grim at initial view, and there are definitely some of the like top 10 wide receivers that I don't like, and I'm going to be low on. But I think that like those, like, there's going to be players that get pushed into the second and third round that don't deserve it. Like, not in fantasy, but in the real draft. But I think that the 4th to 5th round wide receivers are going to be like I think that somebody's going to explode. So we got Browers and McBride at top, and here comes the takes. Tucker Kraft, tight end 3. Colson Loveland, tight end 4. And I tiered them off. Like, if Kyle Pitts goes back to Kevin Stefanski, he absolutely just moves into this tier. So the Kyle Pitts, this isn't hate on Kyle Pitts, but if he goes back to that team, I instantly put him into this tier. So, but Tucker Kraft last year was absolutely on a tear. Let's delete these. Like, in the 8 games he played, Trey McBride averaged 14.88 half-point fantasy points per game. George Kittle, 12.09. Tucker Kraft, 12.65. That is awesome. The reason, like, and Brock Bowers, although his raw fantasy points wasn't that high, he still had 11.85. And by the way, whenever I did the, I I basically just divided this column by this column, and it gave gigantic numbers. Everything that was a 5 or above, I rounded up. And I actually manually went down, because I don't know if there's a way to fix it. But I manually went down every one of these sheets and rounded them up. It took like an hour, but it was all good. I wanted it done for me. So I did that, and that's how I did the rounding as well. So if there's a number that's wrong, it's because I typed something it's like accidentally. If you notice it in the sheet, if you're in the Discord, I have this sheet full access to it under the tools and charts. You can go in there, play with it. Like, I don't think you can move anything, but you can look at all the information. I've got all of it color coded, all of it. Like I have them color coded by stats in Underdog too. So green for running back, blue for or for reception stuff. Then, like, because my branding is orange, we did total points in orange, and then red zone stuff. So like, this is red zone receiving. This is end zone stuff, which is just a different form of red. And then there's tackles avoided and stuff as well. And that was only for rushes, which is kind of weird. But then red zone rushes as well, which is useful. Like, kind of for tight end, like, it's useful. So there's a lot of information there. But yeah, so Tucker Kraft was well above like the average guys. Dallas Goedert, free agent. Kyle Pitts, free agent. Those are like some of the only other ones that was really high. Harold Fannin lost his head coach, right? Doesn't really have a quarterback. Like, it might be Shedeur. They may get some. We don't know what's going on there. So I think that it's pretty obvious that Tucker Kraft is definitely number 3. The question is, how high are you willing to take Tucker Kraft? He is coming off of a major injury, right? Which I do need to signify here. But I personally really, really like him this year. And we already discussed Colston Loveland. I think he's a 4 or 5 turn kind of guy. And if you look, like, those tight ends did kind of separate from the rest of the tight ends. So I think that, like, yes, Kyle Pitts put up an insane amount of points in a single week and ruined everybody's fancy, the playoff best ball stuff, but he was having a good season before that, right? So we have, and by the way, I haven't asked yet. It looks like everybody's already liked. That is fantastic. We got 16 views. We got 16 likes. Love all of you guys. If you aren't subscribed and you're watching this and you have enjoyed the content, please think about subscribing. I'll be doing all kinds of content. And I like to talk it out with the chat a lot of the time. I haven't done a lot of videos yet. I keep saying I want to do them. I do want to do them, but let's be honest, I'm lazy. I haven't got there yet. So I'm going to take advantage of no one accepted. Shedeur is the starter and draft Browns guy. You just have to. I mean, he probably is the starter. But like, this rookie quarterback class is supposedly not very good either. So unless they sign somebody, and I think they just let the world burn there. Watson is available to come back. He was available to come back at the end of this season, and the Browns basically said, nah. All right, so back to tight end. We have... I didn't hear any argument on Tucker Kraft. I expected a little pushback on Tucker Kraft. So that means you guys understand. Like, you remember. All right, third tier. Kyle Pitts, Harold Fannin, Tyler Warren, and Sam Laporta. Yeah, and I do agree with that. Fannin's got to be quarterback proof. I agree. But like let's be honest. If we were taking Brock Bowers in the 7th round, which is kind of what this looks like, 6th, 7th round, last year, we wouldn't have thought that he was a big bust, right? We thought he was a bust last year because we took him at pick 18, right? Like 15 to 18. So, yeah, it feels bad whenever that player is hurt the whole season. He plays hurt. Whenever he finally gets healthy because he was too stubborn to rest, like, he starts being really decent again. But, like, that offense can't be as dysfunctional as it was last year on the Raiders. And Fannin is probably pretty quarterback proof. The problem is that Kevin Stefanski left. And Kevin Stefanski has always used tight ends very, very well. So the offensive coordinator who comes in is a big deal for Harold Fannin for sure. With that being said, like, the Sam Laporta stuff as well. I touched on it with Jameson Williams. Dan Campbell wasn't calling plays when Laporta was healthy. He might have been the game he got hurt was the one. I think maybe the game that Laporta got hurt ended up being the one where they switched play calling duties. I can't remember. And Sam Laporta, like, I like this. Like, I like him here. And I dislike him here. I didn't like him last year as tight end 4. But I liked TJ Hawkinson over him. So like, what did I know? I knew nothing. So that's what I got there. Tight ends 9 to 13. Dalton Kincaid, Ferg, Hunter Henry, Dallas Goedert, free agent, and Britton Strange. I had a very, very I was very hesitant to not just move Britton Strange all the way to like number 9. This is a example of a player I actually have way higher, but I think the market is going to be low on. So I'm not going to like hurt my own EV by moving him way up the board. We'll see what happens. I'm sure in my stream drafts, Britton Strange will go way higher than his ADP most of the time. I'm okay with that. So you're in on Laporta? And yeah, like, the Kraft injury could be bad. It's definitely a gamble. It's not something I want to be like 10 to 15%, or 15 plus percent. But I think I'm willing to go to like 11% or so on Tucker Kraft, depending on where he gets drafted. Like, if he's in the 5th round, I'll have a little, like, above market. I won't be like a bull, but I'll have a decent chunk. And then I have a big tier here, a tier break. I have a gigantic tier break at 13. I think that there's a gigantic break from the Britton Strange, Goddard, Hunter Henry, Ferg, and Dalton Kincaid stuff down to this next tier. I have George Kittle here. This is, I think he has a chance to come back next year, maybe. I don't know that for sure. Like, I'm not sure, but like, if we get him back, like, has it been proven that it was a blown Achilles? Because if it was a blown Achilles, he's probably just undraftable, right? It looked like an Achilles. I just haven't heard for sure what it was. If he's going to miss half the season, if he misses 10 games and he comes back at the end, I think this is a fine value for him. Right? Like, I think you could miss, like, you just take a 3 tight end team and you use him as a playoff push piece. I think that makes sense. Because, like, underneath is Gadsden, Andrews. You've only heard Achilles tear. I mean, if it's an Achilles tear, like I have to do more research on it, but like depending on what happens, like he's definitely not going to start the season, right? And he is an older player, so like a full fade may be fine. I'm probably not going to take him until I hear more news, to be honest with you. This is kind of a placeholder rank for now. But then we got Gadsden, Mark Andrews, Theo Johnson, Terrence Ferguson, Juwan Johnson, TJ Hawkinson, AJ Barner. And yeah, like I think there's a gigantic teardrop from the Kincaid, Ferguson, Hunter Henry, Goddard, and Strange range. I'm assuming a lot of people won't be in on Goddard. He is a free agent. We don't know where he's going to go. But if he goes somewhere, they're going to pay him. They're going to probably, like, as long as Arthur Smith isn't there, they're probably going to use him respectfully. So I think I like it. Like, he's done nothing but produce every year. I know part of that is the system that, like, because Jalen Hurts liked him, like, used him well. So I think that's fine. I think this tier is much, much different. I love Juwan Johnson. I love Terrence Ferguson. And like if Stafford doesn't retire, I move Ferg up. Like I could see myself for sure moving Juwan Johnson and Terrence Ferguson to the top of this tier. I would have no problem with that. I think AJ Barner is definitely the bottom of this tier, but I also think he's significantly better than the next tier. So I kind of put him down here by himself. Like I think him and Hawkinson are about the same, right? Like if McCarthy ends up being fine, like all the Minnesota pieces, it's not them, it's McCarthy. It's what they're going to do. Juwan Johnson, I expect the market to I expect the market to not respect Juwan Johnson once again. If I end up like Juwan Johnson is a player that if this is his actual ADP come like if he's tight end 19 going into next season, I'm going to have he might be my 120% tight end. I'm going to allow myself 120% guy at every position, and it might be Juwan Johnson. And Hawk could get cut. Like that could happen, but that'd be fine. What's up? Nice and blunt. How we doing? Super Bowl at SoFi next year. Hard to imagine Stafford. I mean, that could be fun. I think if they win it this year, there's a chance that he retires. But I bet are you going to try to go to that Super Bowl? I know you live very close. I personally never want to go to a Super Bowl. It's more of a sideshow, and it's like as a pure football fan, I would rather watch that game from my TV and not have all of the bells and whistles of the extra stuff going on. I don't care about the halftime show. So yeah, we got that's that tier. Cut candidate, I'll put that there as a note. Terrence Ferguson, though, I want a lot of. Like, even if Stafford leaves, Terrence Ferguson, like, Tyler Higbee's a free agent. They drafted him. When they drafted Terrence Ferguson, they came out and said, we drafted him to replace Higbee when Higbee is ready to leave. They've been using all these 3 tight end set stuff. Like, I think that Terrence Ferguson next year might be the best pick on the board. Andrews down, he's washed. Hot potato laterals. All right, so notes. Hot potato laterals. Got it. I took your advice under consideration, Peppertoni. I agree. I'm not going to be overweight Andrews if this is correct. This is more of a like some of these ranks are where I want players to be or where I actually have them. Some of them are kind of more like what I think the market's going to do with them. Andrews at tight end 16 next year is something I don't want to have a big bag of. I personally like Juwan Johnson, Terrence Ferguson more. I just don't think that the market's going to have that respected. I think I would like Theo Johnson more because as much as Lutz hates Jackson Dart, the one thing he does is he targets tight ends. He absolutely targets tight ends. So Theo Johnson, like, I kind of expect all of these players to be taken like 120 to 140, and I want one of those players in almost every draft if they're in 120 to 140 range. And I think it gets pretty grim after the AJ Barner tier. With Jake Tonjes moves way up if George Kittle is actually done for like next season. If it is an Achilles tear, I just hadn't confirmed that that's what's going on there. Like, I will move Tonjes up into this tier. I'll probably move Hockenson down below Barner and then Tonjes above Barner as well. So up depending on Kittle. So 22 to 29, you got Mason Taylor, Kelsey. Like, do you want to risk that he doesn't retire? Like, this is we don't know if he's going to retire ADP. I think that everyone's going to assume he retires. Everyone assumed it last year, and then he didn't. But like at 160, taking a shot, like if you have a Mahomes team and you're picking at 150, 160, and Travis Kelce's on the board. Yeah, and that's the thing. I also doubt he wants to play without Mahomes, even if it's for a couple weeks. And I also think that he's absolutely not going, like, yeah, if like a 20th round, 16th round, same value, right? Like, I think if you can get him in the 16th round, like, you just, okay, I'm doing a 2 tight end build with juice, right? Like I'm fine putting him at the bottom of this tier. I'm fine moving him to the top of the, like, I just threw him here because, like, there is perceived value if he does play, right? There's a lot of value because the second he signs a deal, he moves up to 14, right? Like, he just jumps up to Brenton Strange the second he signs. The second we know that he plans on playing, he just moves all the way up, right? So, because his play didn't really decline last year. So that's a player I wanted to talk about for now, because it could absolutely be a 0. So you don't want, like, I don't want any of him if he's going at 120 to 140. But after 140, I think you can start taking kind of whoever you want. And I think that he's a very good buy low candidate. And then Dalton Schultz, Gunnar Helm, I do really like. I don't think people will respect him. Isaiah Likely, sorry, Peppertoni. I want to wait to see where Likely and Njoku go. But when they get landing spots, one of them's going to end with the Arthur Smith team, and we're going to hate it. So I'm waiting to see which one that is. Jake Tonjes could easily move up. And then Mike Gesicki, this is the last, like, hey, these guys are definitely going to have a job next year, but not sure how big of that role they're going to have. This is the tier that I think I don't like. If I get one guy from this tier, like Theo Johnson, and then Gunnar Helm plus Likely, I guess it doesn't feel that bad. But I would much rather have a team with, like, the late wide receivers, right? Like I would much rather have an Elok Iomanor Dart with Tucker Kraft than to have Christian Watson with Isaiah Likely. You know, like, that's just my personal preference. I would rather have the Kraft and the wide receiver. And then these are the, oh God, do I have to tier? Noah Gray, I think, is a pretty, like, I think he'll be way more steamed than this, but that's where I'm putting him. Elijah Arroyo, 31. Colby Parkinson, Evan Ingram, all the way down here. I don't know what the contract situation is there, But man, they do not use him. They don't seem to like. They try to use him. He doesn't perform. Like I want nothing to do with Evan Ingram. I honestly believe that Isaiah Likely is a possible candidate to sign with Denver. I think that they sign a free agent. I wouldn't be shocked to see Kyle Pitts go to Denver, to be honest with you. Like, go to a team you know is going to win. You just proved that you're actually the elite prospect you wanted to, like, that you were. Like, I think that Denver is a dark horse to sign a wide receiver or a tight end. So, Pat Freiermuth, Cade Otton, Zach Ertz, possibly going to retire. That's why he's in italics. Dawson Knox, Greg Dulcich, I can't say that word. Darnell Washington, and Cole Kmet. Yeah, Isaiah Likely feels like the Joker piece that he talks about all the time. I do agree with that. And a Cole Kmet landing spot as well. Is he a free agent? Oh, I just deleted that information, didn't I? Hold on. So who was we looking at? Kmet? Yeah, Cole Kmet is not a free agent. I mean, he may be a cut or whatever, a cut candidate. Yeah, I put every single, like, every offensive player is listed. Like, I got every one of them. We got Zaire Mitchell Payton listed here. So I didn't miss him. Unless the article I was stealing off of missed him, which was from over, I think it was Spot Rack that I used, or Spotrac, whatever you want to call it. So, and then Cole Kmet is at the bottom here. These are my ranks on both wide receiver and the wide receiver and tight ends. By the way, nice and blunt, I believe your name's Adam, correct? But I did put the Excel sheet. I put this Excel sheet in my Discord under tools and charts. You have access to look at it. Anybody can look at it. It's free to look at. I need to go in and sort all of them. Like, it's currently sorted by fantasy points, not by fantasy points per game. I still have a little work I need to do on it, but it's working for the most part. I have all the teams, like all the free agents listed. I have all the teams, all of this information. So, like, this is the quarterback stuff. And then running backs, got all of this stuff. You got tackle avoided. My first name is James. I go by Who, though. Everybody calls me Who. Like part of the that's what the Hames part of Who Hames is, a play off of my first name from a nickname I got, which that is a story. I've went over that story before. I think it's a good story. The chat seemed to think it was a good story, so we can go over it again eventually. I'm not feeling like staying on much longer today, so not today. And I'll make it more of I might just make it a video at some point. But yeah, all of this, just tons of information. I've got it all color charted by stats, by the underdog stuff. Yeah, not exactly. It's not who hummus. It's Who Hames, the long A. But anyway, that's what I got today. I'm not sure what I'll be doing tomorrow. I planned on going through a bunch of rookies over the last couple days, but like I said, I woke up not feeling good the last couple days. I started looking up stuff yesterday. I watched Jeremiah Love, and I was kind of out of it. Like, and if I'm not in a mood to watch, I generally just dislike everything. I noted some things. There are some things that I think are just a fact that I noted that I don't like about his profile. Like, and it's not that I'm going to be negative on him. I'll just show you my initial scouting, like very surface level scouting on what I've seen on Jeremiah Love. Give me a minute. So here we go. So basically, great acceleration after bounce, solid contact after first contact, excellent vision, burst at the point of attack. Pepper, right? I'm going to guess it's Pepper. All right, so this is something I've seen with Caleb Johnson stuff that I disliked. Now, I don't think, like, I'm not saying that he's Caleb Johnson. Don't get me. Don't think that. But the offensive line at Notre Dame is insane. Like, they are very, very good. Right? So, like, so many times he was just so open that it didn't matter. Like, yes, he was really good. He makes some really, really good, like his vision's very good, which helps him be that open, right? But like, that to me is something that Ashton Jeanty didn't worry about. Or that's something you didn't have to worry about with Genty's profile. And yeah, I mean, his line was worse than it was pretty bad in the NFL, but and it didn't work out. But Bijan the same way, like his line wasn't absolutely elite. It was him making big plays. That doesn't mean I'm going to be down or out on Jeremiah Love, but I do think there's a little more risk than people are talking about. And like, I've heard that he's like one of the best pass catchers for running back in the class. From what I've seen, and I haven't got to all 22 film yet, but from what I've seen, every single reception he had was just absolutely wide open, nobody even close to him. And then he took it really long. And that's not a negative for him. Like, he made the play, he did all that. Like, but that's a good scheme thing more than he's really, really good out of the backfield. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's solid out of the backfield. But in my eyes, like, those were catches that, like, only the worst running back, only the Tank Bigsby's drop. All but one of them. One of them was a fantastic catch that I seen. But anyway, that was my surface level look at Jeremiah Love. And to be honest with you, like, we will go back to the very rough ranks here. Like, I'm probably going to, like, I haven't mixed these up. I will probably put Jeremiah Love. I haven't decided if it's going to be ahead or below James Cook. He's going to be in that area. I think I'm probably going to put him a step behind James Cook. And think about putting him behind Hampton. Like, I might put Hampton ahead of him, which will get me 0. But I'll probably just do James Cook and then Jeremiah Love and then Hampton. Like, I will be underweight Jeremiah Love, I almost promise you, but it won't be like Jeanty. I was very, very in on Jeanty last year. And I might change my tune the more I watch, but I like these other running backs so much more. And like, everybody was saying it last year, why take Jeanty when Derrick Henry's just sitting there? The same thing could be said about, like, you're hoping Jeremiah Love does what James Cook has already done 2 years, right? You're hoping he does what Josh Jacobs has done for 2 years. Chase Brown, the same thing. Like, So taking him over those players is just a risk. Yes, it has the upside, but like it's just a risk. And at this point, we don't even know a landing spot. So, but anyway, thanks everybody for coming out. I had a blast. I don't know what I'll be doing tomorrow. Maybe I do my first drafts of the week. I haven't looked at the slate at all, but to be honest, there's nothing to look at. Like, it's the championship game. There's 2 games. Like, I know most of all of that. And if you guys want, like, if you want to talk like over these ranks that I've had over the last 2 days, if you have any thoughts or you find news, like, and by the way, if you're going to use the news channel in the Discord, it's not really been an issue. And whenever I mention it, everybody's very, very accepting of this. But like, don't like comment afterwards. Just put the news there and then use the Hangout or whatever to discuss it. We've kind of built that as the way the community works. That way the news feed stays pure and it's easy for people to access information. So thanks everybody. I'll be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. like always. See y'all later. Peace.